guys, Chris here with Super Savvy Travelers, and we're so excited because today we have the famous Ivan De Luca with us. And he is our agent and pretty much our all-around go-to guy in our area in Calabria, the Riviera Dei Cedri. He's agreed to answer some questions about the Calabrian or the Riviera Dei Cedri mostly, but the Calabrian and Italian property market as well. So we're so excited and we can't wait to get started.
I would like to thank you for your inviting me and participate in this important discussion and exchange of ideas via social media. I want to thank you, Chris and Peter, for creating this wonderful gravitational center of information that is Super Savvy Travelers. Okay? Because you know, the south of Italy is not yet the main Italian tourist destination, but it will be soon one of the biggest destinations for tourists. Thanks for your great work. I'm ready.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Ivan. As soon as we arrived in Calabria and in our area, we just thought, it's so beautiful here and the people are so wonderful that we didn't understand why it wasn't already a huge tourist destination. So we decided we should help make it that way, you know? And happily, we have found wonderful people to work with and super professional people. You're one of them, obviously, one of the first ones we've found, and we're so happy about that. And we have, others in the area. And it's turning into a beautiful group. The people coming to the channel, the people being interviewed on the channel, they all have the same goal, which is help people achieve their dreams, bring people over, just create a big, beautiful community, and the Americans really want to be part of the Italian community, which is really what I love. So I have some questions for you about the property market over in Calabria. And do you mind if we just dive in and get started?
Yeah. We can start. Yes.
Okay, good. All right. So what do you think is the most important thing for someone purchasing a property to consider, a property in Italy or in our Riviera Dei Cedri? What's the most important thing you think they should look at?
There are, for me, many aspects. But my focus is Italy and south of Italy.
Okay.
Italy is the best tourist destination in the world because, according to me, there are many aspects, history aspects, our cultural traditions, the great beauty, the food, and the mild climate. What is important to understand that the great Roman culture, the Roman Empire, is still present in our blood today. Recently, the latest excavations and discoveries in Pompeii, in Campania, make us a dream, big dream. We anticipated the fast food or the street food 2,000 years earlier.
Yes, you did.
I think that, discussing together in Italy about the Renaissance, was the cradle of the world is very limiting. It's enthusiastic and speechless when I see the art of Michelangelo, Raphael, Leonardo da Vinci in the Italian museums. These are men who made the history. And we must preserve and care of this priceless history. And our story is an unique story. And this is my focus. Certainly, we Italians must do more to preserve this immense culture because it's amazing. Every area, south of Italy, north of Italy, we have a lot of history. the Italian people are a little bit strange because they don't care much about the past, but always live for the present.
Yes.
This
Yes.
is the typical our lifestyle. Okay, but we have to respect, like Italians and foreigners, our culture, and you know, it's important aspect, okay, for me.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And you know, it's funny because you go to Italy, like we came to Calabria, and it's almost like the longer you're there, the more you see the layers, you know, of history. You discover, like in Tortora, there's that beautiful museum there, which we were just enthralled. I couldn't believe that it was just so perfect and so beautiful. And then you have the archaeological park in Dalao over there, which goes back, I don't even remember, like way before Christ, you know, and Paestum and all these other things. So the history is so rich, and it's nice because you can see certain things that have stayed with us throughout the history, meaning the culture, the focus on beauty and aesthetics. I mean, that, I think what I love about Italy the most is there's a huge importance put on beauty and aesthetics in everything, in food, in life, in culture, harmony of colors, harmony of emotions, you know, just harmony. It's just a wonderful thing.
I'm agree. Totally agree.
Yeah. And we've been so lucky that we have people to help us realize that. So that's wonderful. I totally agree 100% with your assessment. So here's our next question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's what is the property market like? I know in Italy there's a little bit of difference, but in our area, I've been noticing a lot more properties coming on the market, and it seems like the prices are very low. Can you comment on that? Is that because of COVID or Brexit, or just we don't know?
Yeah, I want to share with you and some statistical data concerning the economic trend in Italy. In 2020, we record a decrease of our GDP of 8.9%. While the real estate market, especially in the first half of the year, remained almost unchanged, but collapsed in the second half of 2020. Certainly, there are some different areas, you know, different economy, because, you know, it's impossible to, it's unthinkable to compare the economy of north of Italy from the south of Italy. But, you know, it's a buyer market, and it's time to make an investment in Italy. But in Calabria, well, the average at the moment of the prices in Calabria between the different regions, provinces, the average of the market is about 900 euros per square meter for a typical apartment. But in the last year, we recorded an average of contraction of 1%, 2%. But these are, according to me, only general statistics. What happens with COVID and the rest is that there were not many negotiations, not many deals, and if someone want to come in 2021, there are a lot of offers on the market, and could be a buyer market, and therefore it's a market to consider. But what I just about regarding the economy, according to me, considered the COVID and the Brexit will certainly have a big influence of 2021 real estate market. According to me, this is a third world war, and that hit the European Union and the rest of the world. And after a war, investment in the real estate sector could increasingly performing. Okay, this is my opinion. And therefore, this is it's a very good opportunity in 2021 to invest in Italy. Yeah. And because we have always considered this. Finally, the European Union start to think about the economy of the nations. And for about 5 years, from 2021 until 2026, the European Union has planned a huge financial aid to Italy and the rest of Europe. And therefore, according to, we have some recovery funds, okay? And therefore, the real estate market will improve in the future.
Okay, good. So
and grow. And and for me, it's time to invest in Italy.
Yes, right now, while it's a good time, because if those funds come in and things improve, things could change. I have seen some of the lowest prices that I've ever seen in Scalea. Not as much. Well, even in Santa Maria del Cedro, or not, I'm sorry, in San Nicola, which is generally a little higher end market. I'm seeing some really, really great values up there.
In fact, just an example. I'm involved in the real estate business because it was a family business. Yeah. And when I started to work in my real estate agency, we sold typical properties of about 50 square meters in Scalea, and the price in 2010 was about 40,000 euro, okay, for a typical apartment in the city center. Now the value is, the cost of this property, the value is about 30,000, okay, yeah. And 10,000 euro less in about 10 years. Yeah. In fact, it's the prices are ridiculous.
They are ridiculous. And even, in Scalea, I noticed a huge change, but I also noticed in the outlying little villages, there are some places that we were looking at 10 years ago, and they're half the price or less than half the price, specifically the ones that, need work, that sort of thing. But it's crazy what you can get now. It's just, now's the perfect time. So here's another question. We've heard that Italy's looking at opening up more in March. What is I know this is just a guess on your part, but what is your guess as to when we Americans can get over to Italy and look for properties?
I hope in April, but fingers crossed. April, May, because there are some restrictions. We are waiting the final to taste finally the vaccine, the Pfizer vaccine or some other brands. Okay, it's a strange situation, but I'm confident. Totally confident.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah, I mean, Pete and I are coming over in May. We're working with Nick to handle some residency issues, but we plan to be there all summer. So hopefully we have a lot of people who want to come over, and maybe we'll need to help you out, because it sounds like you've got a lot of people ready to come visit you. So that's actually really good news. I'm very happy to hear that. Yeah,
because our area, that is the north of Calabria, the west side, okay, from Tortora to Cetraro, there are. It's a touristic area, and last year we had important tourist opportunities, okay, because many Italians, after the lockdown, the idea of them is to have vacation to the beaches, okay, and we work very, very hard to tell the truth, from June until to October 2020.
Wow.
The management of the property, many Italians and some Europeans, okay, arrives from England, from France, north of Italy, north of Europe, okay, because strangely we have many clients from the north of Europe too, okay, Sweden, Norway, Finland, okay, because our climate is a mild climate, and for the persons that live in the north of Europe, our climate is important for them.
Absolutely. And the beaches are really, I think, the most beautiful beaches in the world, the views. And, I tell all my guys on the channel, look, if you're looking in the Amalfi Coast, just look a little farther south. It's the same. Like in some areas, Praia Mare and San Nicola, it looks just like the Amalfi Coast, come down where it's so much cheaper to buy property.
Yeah, in fact, we have the walkable beaches.
Okay? Yes.
And just for example, Praia Mare, I don't know, 10 kilometers of beaches walkable. Scalea, 8 kilometers of beaches. It's amazing.
It
opportunity.
It really is. And when Pete and I first arrived in Calabria, we were enthralled. We were just overcome with how beautiful it is. And the longer we're there and the more we see and the more people we meet, the more we love it. We just are so happy that we have friends there and that, that we can be part of this whole thing. So that's wonderful. That brings me
and another important thing that I want to communicate is it's a strange region, the region of Calabria, because in 100 kilometers we have the beaches and the skiing resorts. Okay, in fact, last year I went in Lorica for Christmas time and end of the year. I went with my family, and in that place, inside the National Park of Sila, the snow was about 1 meter. Okay, and it's a strange region. Okay, there are many differences. Okay,
yeah,
the mountains, the hilly area, and beaches. Okay?
That's true, and you have all the wonderfulness of the mountains right there, and the sea. And the mountains in Calabria are different than just mountains,
It's a wild nature.
Yeah,
because
wild
just
nature.
For example, we have one of the biggest national park in Europe is Parco del Pollino.
Yeah.
That is between the two regions of Calabria and Basilicata.
Yeah.
Wild nature, no developments, no streets. It's a desert, but I hope that it's possible to improve the area. Okay.
Yeah, it is beautiful. The scenery in Calabria is just unrivaled. To me, it's the most beautiful area in the world. So, yeah.
When it was made, the National Park of Pollino, the government, the regional government, they made the area, but with a lot of restrictions and rules to respect. But what is important now is just to improve the area, to the opportunity of investment in the area. At the moment, we are waiting someone.
Yeah.
Can do it. Politicians or private investors is important for us.
That's true, and it's a fine line, because you want to keep the beauty of the wildness of it, but you also want to do improvements. So, but I think Calabria has done a beautiful job on that. I mean, our idea of, when we came down to Calabria and said we want to really, help the economic situation and invite people down there, it wasn't because we wanted to see McDonald's and Marriott hotels. Our idea is the mom and pops just grow, and there's more mom and pop shops and stores and hotels and, the local businesses, and have them just sort of grow and do well. That's really, I think that's the ideal thing. Nobody wants to go, well, I guess some people do, but I've never liked to go from America to a city where they have Starbucks and McDonald's and everybody goes there. It doesn't make, well, I can do that in my city. I want to go to Italy and be in Italy.
Yeah, and then, in our coast, it's a cheap area. In fact, I remember another important news for you. When I met some clients from many years ago, I remember from Durban, South Africa, okay? And they bought a property through our real estate agency. And this lady, she told me that Her idea was to live in Scalea, to eat Italian foods, to cook Italian foods, to drive Italian cars, and go to the village and see the religious festival. To live like Italians, okay?
Yes.
Because there are a lot of new developments made in Calabria and the rest of Italy, where all the persons they bought the typical nice property in a big block, okay? Go to the pool and drink beer, nothing else.
Yeah. You can do that. Well, we can do that in California. We don't need to go to Italy. The one thing about the people on our channel, and this seems to be universal with everybody that comes to us, is they really want the community in the villages, in the towns. They want to be part of an Italian community. And I love that, because to me, that just makes the world smaller, and more friendly. It's like, if you are part of the village, you're part of the community, you really revel in these beautiful cultural customs and food and everything else. And that's really what they want. They want a sense of community. And in America, I've said this before, many times you don't know your neighbor in America. In some places you do. I'm not saying all America is like that, but it's gotten to be sort of a thing where you get up and you're by yourself and you go to work and you come home and you cook dinner and you go to bed. There's not the passeggiata, there's not the, enjoying the sunset. There's not lingering over a cup of beautiful coffee, it's in your car, you're drinking your Starbucks on the way to work, and people long for that. They long for the Italian lifestyle. I think I long for it all the time.
And this important aspect is, it's possible to find it in the small village, small borghi d'Italia.
Yeah.
And for me, it's possible to find just, for example, in Santa Domenica Talao. It's easy.
Yeah. And we found that every little village, every borgo has its own personality, its own character. And you have to go to all of them and see which one fits you. Which community looks like it's the one that fits you. And the choosing process is really the most fun part, going and looking at the different villages and talking to the people.
In fact, I received a lot of contacts. Okay. I prefer that all the persons can be here, I don't know, when is it possible, and to stay 1 week, see the different areas, compare, okay? And because this is very important, because online it's possible to send what is the trend of the market, but it's important how do you feeling in that place. Okay? This is important.
Yes, exactly. I think that's the most important thing. So once you figure that out, then finding your property is easy. So I'm excited, because I have, I think, 4 or 5 people that are just waiting for us to buy our tickets, and then they're going to buy their tickets. And we had the interview with Nick Mehta. I think you saw the interview. It was a great interview. He's so full of information. And he can work out ways of getting you over there if you want to buy properties, or, if you fit into certain categories, but he's been pretty successful. So I'm hoping that a lot of these guys can come over when we're there. And of course, we'll all be running around all over our area here looking at properties, which is, to me, the most fun thing. Okay, so here's another question. I know we've touched on this already, but what is the vacation rental market like in Calabria? Now, we have various different areas, and maybe you can touch on what the market is like for vacation rentals, and also what areas are the better areas for rentals, and what to look for, what to avoid. What's the ideal rental property in Calabria?
Well, historically, the rental market in Calabria and in the Riviera Dei Cedri had a great impact in our local economy during the 80s, because in that period started many persons made a real estate investment in the area, and especially most of company society they build holiday homes and hotels. Okay, in fact, I estimate in the coast of Riviera Dei Cedri from Tortora to Cetraro about 1 million of tourists every year. Okay.
Wow.
80%, 70% Italians, the rest foreigners. Okay. The most popular destinations are 3 cities, Scalea, Diamante, and Preamare, because most of Italians prefer to have a property close to the beaches.
Close to the beach.
Close to the beach. And commonly, the sold out always takes place in August, because all the industries in Italy are closed, and it's a typical time. Okay, usually I send information to my friends, in the rest of the world. Please avoid August because too many persons.
Yeah.
Just for Italians, it's okay.
Yeah.
If you want to be quiet and the other period of the summer or springtime, but I like so much the period that is from June, July, September, October. Okay,
yeah,
and it's a fantastic period for me. And these are information that I send to my clients. Okay.
Yeah.
About always the rental market. Weekly, the quote vary according the type of property. The distance from the sea, from the beaches, what is the content of this property, the chosen period, okay? But commonly, the cost to rent an apartment in this area is about minimum 500 euro per week, minimum, okay, for typical for a family of 4 persons, okay?
Okay.
Certainly, advertising the rental homes with the major international website of the sector, okay, this increase the opportunity, the possibility of greater success, okay. The property close to the beaches are, for the rental market, are the most important, okay. It's an important thing, okay. At the same time, it's possible, to buy some properties in the village, in the historic centers. Is another market, okay. Mm-hmm. Not so famous market, but it's another market, and has to be respected, okay. And there are good increasing, okay, because the new family, the family with high culture in Italy and the rest of the Europe, they prefer to buy or to rent apartments in the historic center. In fact, I joke with my English clients that they prefer to live in the property close to the ghosts.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, close to the beach is a very big thing. Now, I was wondering, I know in some places you don't need a car and other places you do, but the places where you need a car generally have really nice views. What is your take on that? Are the views a big deal? Do people generally not want to use a car? How does that work?
Commonly, most of the clients prefer to have a property in the city center, okay, with a walkable distance, close to the train station, close to the beaches. Mm. The view is important, but is an aspect that not for the Italians, because Italians want something walkable, for walkable distance. The foreigners, they prefer so much the view, okay, mountains view, sea view, or driving car, or because our lifestyle, Italian lifestyle, is different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good to know, because even with the COVID last year, our apartment in Preamare was booked pretty much for July and August.
Yeah.
We were really surprised and really happy about that. So that's a good thing to realize. Okay, so they have, in Scalea, there are these small apartments. There just seems like millions of them. They're very inexpensive. It sounds like because Scalea, much of it is walkable distance to the beach, that might be a really good value. Is that right?
Yes, because Scalea in Riviera Dei Cedri is the biggest city. Okay, there are 11,000 inhabitants, but 27,000 units.
Wow.
And in the past, too many units were made. Okay, and commonly it's a very cheap market. It's possible to buy something from 20,000 euro for nothing.
Yeah.
You know that in American peanuts.
Yeah, you don't find that, especially in California. You can't buy a parking place for 20,000 euros in California.
And you know, this depends on the areas, the type of complexes. Most of these cheap properties are just 1 kilometer from the beaches. You know. But at the same time, it's possible to invest in the historic center of Scalea, that is just in the center of Scalea. There are many opportunities, okay, of investment. Okay, at the same time, you know, there are some differences with the market of Santa Domenica Talao. Mm-hmm. In fact, we received a lot of emails, but it's not easy to find a correct property in Santa Domenica Talao because it's a small market. Okay. Yeah. There are not many offers on the market.
They were pretty full not last summer, but the summer before. I know that they were full for a while. Yeah, we think that's going to change because we have a lot of people wanting to go to Santa Domenica. So we'll see what happens with that. But definitely Scalea for the rental market, I think, is a really good choice. What about Santa Maria del Cedro? Now, I won't lie. Pete and I have been on Idealista looking for things.
Santa Maria del Cedro. Well,
I'm sorry, San Nicola.
San Nicola del Cedro. Yes, it's another important, nice place. First of all. Mm-hmm. But it's not a flat area because there is the historic center, top of the hill, and some other complexes built always in the 80s. The market is different because, I don't know, it's a small village of about 3,000 inhabitants and there are, I don't know, 8,000 units. Okay, the cost for each unit is 20%, 30% more than Scalea. Okay, it's a small area, but I like so much because the view. Most of the properties that have an amazing view in San Nicola Cedro.
Yeah,
and to reach the little beach down in Zona Marinella, it's an unbelievable street like Amalfi Coast, and it's another important area, small than Scalea, but the cost is top level. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know they have wine bars and restaurants, and the downtown area is sort of very touristy, and I think that is a big draw. Now, is it not easier, but is it easy to rent there? And does the property price? Can you?
It's a stable market in San Nicola Cedro. The rental market is important, but the inquiries that I receive every time are for the location that Preamare, Scalea, Diamante. But San Nicola Cedro is another important locality. Okay, some rental too. Yeah.
Okay. That's good to know. Okay. And again, we've touched on this a little bit, but what is your projection for the real estate market prices in the area? You had talked about, you think that with the influx of funds coming in, that the real estate market is going to turn around and things
in the future. I'm positive, yes, because our statistics now are very bad. Bad statistics, Our economy has to be improved by this governmental funds or European funds. We need to improve the economy because COVID is a big recession, and yes, it's if someone has the opportunity to invest now, is the best thing to do, to be done immediately, okay? Because then in future, I'm positive because, you know, our area started in the 80s with the Italians, then from about 20 years, that started to be international. In fact, we have persons, clients, because, you know, a client for me became a friend after many years, you know, and yes, it started to be international, and we need more infrastructure. This is important for us. I mean, one airport could be important because we have the airport in Scalea, but it's a long story. But if the government, regional government, decide just to invest in the area, and because it's important for us.
Yeah. Well, we have seen when we first got there, there's a huge difference now in the amount of, you know, road repairs, just making the place nicer, you know, redoing things so that they look really, really beautiful. I've seen a lot of that, especially the last time we were there. I noticed, you know, our road leading to Santa Domenica, there's that one road that goes
totally new. Now it's totally renewed. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it was horrible for a while, but now
I went by bicycle some days ago. Unbelievable. It's a perfect street.
Oh, it's lovely. And I'm so happy to see all of that because, you know, that brings more tourists down. Tourists come down, they see the beauty of the area, they see that it's all cared for and loved, and they come back, you know. So I think that's really a nice trend that we're seeing. I know we touched on this one. This was a question that you probably already answered, but if you have any more to add to it, as far as vacation rentals, the best areas. So we're talking about Diamante, Praia Mare, and Scalea.
Yes.
That's where most people call you and say, hey, I want an apartment in one of these areas. Is that right?
But in the future, if, you know, the European funds and when start to a new culture, okay, of investment in the historic centers, you know, I'm confident at the same time for the rest of the area in Calabria, okay?
Yeah.
Because, you know, there are a lot of inquiries from England, from US to investment property in the historic centers, okay? The important thing is, another important information that I want to share with you is that commonly the renovations, you know, how to renovate a property in the historic center.
Yes.
Commonly the costs are just a little bit more expensive because to reach the property in a straight, narrow street is not easy, okay?
Right.
And we have to respect the rules, the urban rules made by municipality, made by region of Calabria. We need to use an architect or an engineer to have the project to finalize the design of the property. It's an important investment, but the results are incredible.
Yeah, yeah, we've found that too with the renovations we're doing in Santa Domenica. We haven't done extensive renovations in Praia Mare, but you've helped us so much with our apartment there, and, you know, fixing things up and handling, you know, plumbing issues and everything that came up. We think we have everything all fixed now, so that's good. And Pete and I are working on a course that we're going to do, which is, you know, how to choose a property to rent. You know, like if you want to live there part-time, but also if you want to rent it, and even start your own business as an Airbnb, you know, rental. Now is the time. Because with the prices as low as they are, you can get some deals, and your return on investment is so much bigger than anywhere else really in Italy, except for maybe Sicily, I think. So yeah, we're going to be working on that, and it's going to be very interesting. We can't wait to get over. We have already, I have so many preferiti on idealista.com, so I'll have to send that over to you, because some of them are looking really, really good.
Another important information that I want to share with you is the historic center of Belvedere Marittimo. Belvedere Marittimo is another local area, small village, top of the mountains, okay, with amazing view.
Yeah.
A castle with a lot of history, okay. And there is, we need clients.
Yeah.
To improve the area.
That's a good idea. You know, we should do a video or something on when we get over there. We have so many plans, and one of the plans is to do a little video on each area. Like, here's what it is, here's the characteristics, here's the restaurants. You know, Tortora is one of them, Aieta, Scalea, you know, each area, and then, you know, possibly do some, you know, we do want to do some videos of specific properties, you know, the kind where you walk in and you can see exactly how the property is, so that by the time people get over there, they know. You know, pictures on websites don't really tell you the whole story, but a video is so much better. So we want to definitely do that, and you know, introduce people to the various areas.
I want just to say hello to all my friends that are in the rest of the world. I have some friends in Finland. They cannot come in Scalea. It's 1 year about. Okay, they are every time send to me information, email. Okay, some of the friends that are in Slovakia, many other in South Africa, from US, from Russia too. Okay,
yeah.
And the dream of these friends and clients is to come in 2021 and have vacations, because it's important.
It is important, and I think it's, you know, it's been such a crazy time on all aspects of the world that we need to get away and reconnect with each other. Especially the COVID has had the effect of pulling us all apart and making us, you know, only only me, you know, or only me and my family. And we need to reconnect with all of our friends, and you know, it's almost like just reassuring ourselves that we're all still together. That's what we need. And we're very much hoping, and I really think that by May, everybody will be able to come over and start realizing their dreams. So get ready, because there's a lot of people. I don't know how we're going to handle them all, but boy, that's going to be a fun time.
2021 for me.
Yes, exactly. We're going to be very, very busy, but we're going to be very, very happy, and so will our clients. It's going to be a lot of fun. So is there anything else that you want to tell everybody? Any other tips or pointers or just messages?
Yes, no, just a special say hello to all my friends, okay?
Okay.
Because, you know, I remember many years ago when I started my work, okay, with international clients. It was one day in January. It was a professor from Pennsylvania, I remember, okay? He went every time in January in Scalea, in the historic center, okay? He bought a big unit of 2-3 levels in the historic center. And, you know, he had a very big, you know, deals in US for his business. And he usually came that period because for him to open the windows, the window in the historic center in his flat, and listen the radio of the neighbors close to him. Okay, that's sing an Italian song, or taste the local cuisine. Okay, in a specific restaurant. For him was like to be in the world for the second time.
Yes.
Simple life, but different. Okay, simple life, but different. Yes.
Yeah.
And in fact, I say a lot to some friends that they bought a property in San Nicola Arcella many years ago, and now they cannot come here because for COVID reason. Okay, most of them. And we are every time in contact via email, via WhatsApp, via video, okay? And asked me every time what is the temperature, the climate, information about the local council.
Yeah. You know, it's almost like they've become part of the village or the community already. I see that with my guys. They write me the same thing. When can we go? When go? Oh my gosh, I'm pining for Italy. I so want to go. I mean, it is a passion for most of the people on our channel. And I love that because I kind of thought I was a little nuts because I was so passionate about our area there. But apparently everybody else is too. They can picture it. They can see themselves there. They can, they can't wait to get over there and just be part of it. And we can't wait to have them. So that's a lovely thing. So Ivan, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's lovely getting an update.
I hope to see each other soon, as soon as possible.
Yeah, I miss you guys. We all miss you guys so much. It's so exciting to talk to you about properties, about the things that we're so passionate about. And we can't wait to see you guys again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put your details in the details section so people can contact you. Get ready. I think you're going to
contact us.
What's that? On WhatsApp?
Contact us.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're going to be quite busy. So we'll gear up and be ready for that. And we can't wait to get over there and see you. We so appreciate everything that you're doing. So thank you.
Grazie.
Sì, prego.